Afraid of the dark? If so, you suffer from nyctophobia, yet another in the seemingly endless list of phobias. Some people are afflicted by only one fear, but others aren't so lucky. Our cover story is reported by Martha Teichner.
It's jungle out there. Disorder ain't
He's obsessive-compulsive.
Don't look down.
And he's got more phobias than you can count.
I'm told you're germophobic, afraid of the dark, heights, crowds, and milk. We're working on the milk.
106.
Monk, USA Cable star detective, from the very first episode, was meant to be the walking definition of anxiety disorder. But funny. The backstory here is that Monk and the show's creator, David Hoberman, have a lot in common.
I do walk around to the right of things. If I'm stuck somewhere, I still won't go under ladders, and I still don't like to fly.
Neither does Monk. To the 40 million Americans who have an anxiety disorder, fears from ailurophobia, a terror of cats, to aphantasmophobia, dread of being touched, are not just funny-sounding crossword solutions, as Monk star Tony Shalhoub discovered.
People's lives can be, shattered. And I realized, we really have to tread lightly here because it's a serious, serious problem.
It's like a wrong signal. Something is telling your body that there's danger, but there isn't any danger. And so what happens is the person is totally aware that this is irrational.
Geraldine Ross heads the Anxiety Disorders Association of America.
Even people with the same exact anxiety disorder can have very different symptoms.
All of a sudden my body got really hot and the room started spinning and I felt like I was having a heart attack.
Jennifer Reines was 15 at a party when her first panic attack came on out of nowhere.
And it was probably the most terrifying experience of my life. And then after that, I started to get them every single night before I went to bed.
I'd sweat, I'd just be terrified that I was just gonna say something wrong or foolish, and I couldn't talk, so I just wouldn't go out.
You stayed in your house?
Yes.
It got so bad at one point, Emily Ford spent 8 months living by herself in the Vermont woods in a cabin with no electricity.
I have a fear of elevators.
Stephanie McKee was maybe 3 when it started. After therapy, she can get in one now, but remembers walking up the stairs, 19 floors once, to avoid the elevator.
I felt like I was drowning, like I was gonna die, but I got really good at hiding it.
All 3 of these young women have been struggling to overcome what they consider the living hell of their anxiety disorders at the treatment center Geraldine Ross runs outside Washington.
A lot of people think that, you're not really sick, or, it's just in your head and you can just get over it, but it is. It is a disease.
This is what scientists know. There is usually a genetic predisposition to anxiety disorders. They can be triggered by a physical or emotional trauma. Caffeine can even set off the accompanying panic attacks. Twice as many women have anxiety disorders as men. And here's why sufferers can't just say, okay, enough. Their brains function abnormally.
So here's the top of the head. This person would be looking directly at you.
Psychiatrist Dennis Charney, dean of the Mount Sinai Medical School in New York City, studies anxiety disorders.
This is an example of a MRI scan.
It turns out the amygdala, the part of the brain that registers fear, seems to be overactive.
So here, this is a scan showing actual blood flow going to the amygdala.
The cerebral cortex, the part of the brain that tells you to calm down, appears to be underactive.
For the patient, many times it's gratifying to know that it's not a weakness, that this is a brain disorder, that scientists are learning more about every day, so we can develop better treatments.
Phobias, like the fear of heights James Stewart experiences in Vertigo, are the most common of the many anxiety disorders. In The Aviator, Leonardo DiCaprio plays reclusive billionaire Howard Hughes, who had, among other things, a germ phobia.
You can't move. You're safe here. You're in the germ-free zone now. You understand? Whoa, don't touch. Don't touch. Get out of line.
Hollywood seems to love fictional anxiety disorders. Remember Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets? But real performers get them too. Donny Osmond and Barbra Streisand both have suffered from social anxiety disorder, which led to debilitating stage fright. Streisand didn't perform in public for years. Because of 9/11 and the Iraq War, it would be hard not to have heard of post-traumatic stress disorder. Composer Alan Shawn suffers from agoraphobia, a fear of being unable to escape, of being anywhere outside his personal safety zones, including Bennington College in Vermont, where he teaches. Cars, elevators, airplanes, open spaces, closed spaces can all freak him out.
I have turned my car around many times. And I'll literally have the feeling, I don't deserve to live, at those moments. It's a terrible, terrible feeling.
He called the memoir he's just written, Wish I Could Be There.
There's a picture of my parents taken in 1972.
His case is textbook. His father, William Shawn, the longtime editor of the New Yorker magazine, had multiple phobias. The magazine was his safety zone.
The New Yorker made it possible for him to engage with everything and with all kinds of people without, going to Mount Everest. This is my twin sister, Mary.
The institutionalizing of Mary, Alan Shawn's autistic twin, is, he's convinced, the trauma that triggered his phobias.
I internalized the shock of that, what I saw as banishment, and of course it was accentuated by the fact that we didn't talk about it.
Shawn believes the years of treatment he's had, both medication and psychotherapy, have helped him battle his fears, but also to accept that his achievements, even his music, may be a response to them.
In music, I can actually go down the lonely, wooded road and not bolt from it and turn the car around.
Which brings us back to Monk.
The crime solving is related to his obsession with orderliness.
Shh, everybody.
I just focus on what's off.
The fact that Monk is so brilliant, and the fact that at the end of the episode, he is able to overcome his issues to solve a murder, is heroic.
Okay, for the record, this one is a little uneven, but I don't care.
Monk, the unlikeliest of poster boys, has become the stand-in for millions of Americans who want people to realize that for them,
I touched that one twice.
just getting through the day can be an act of courage.